Welcome into the bunker of General Gridiron, field marshal of football forecasting. We're about to map out the way this college football weekend is gonna go. Will your favorite team be marching to victory, or will the enemy be taking your battle flag? Hey, Halloween's still a few days away, but the General thinks a few college football teams put on the wrong costume last Saturday. I'm looking at you, Wisconsin, Missouri, and Miami. So this week, who's going to be tricked and treated on the big Saturday leading up to Scary Thursday? Ready to get to the picks? I thought so. Grab your helmet and man those battle stations. We're ready for another round of General Gridiron's football foretelling. Boston College at Clemson. Just when you thought the beings atop Chestnut Hill were left for dead, the Eagles soared back with a convincing win over the Pack in Week 8. And don't forget that BC's 2 conference losses have been by a combined 5 points. So you're telling me the Adazio coach bunch has some South Boston pea and vinegar left in them? Well, not exactly. If not for this primetime get-together in the Carolina upstate, you could see a continuing uptick of them Yankee birds. But the Tigers aren't that hospitable. Heck, one of the CU's own players had to hitchhike back to campus after fisticuffs broke out in Louisville. The gloves will come off in this Atlantic Division clash, and BC will get a reality check right across the noggin. The Generals victor, Clemson. Wisconsin at Ohio State. The Badger State Battalion evidently forgot a football contest is 4 quarters long, as an epic last-minute meltdown cost UW dearly in Champaign-Urbana last weekend. Now Paul Chryst's team can't afford to let that loss to the Illini bite them in the tuchus 2 weeks in a row. Wisconsin's got to hit the road again, and this Saturday's challenge is even steeper. Beat a number 3 Buckeyes team in the Horseshoe. The Scarlet and Gray are steadily moving back into the conversation, where they make it to the Natty and actually win it, like they did back in 2014. The Omnivores will play a complete game in Columbus, but those nuts just won't crack. The Generals victor, Ohio State. Tulane at Navy. The Big Easy Wave wanders off course and smashes into the calm waters of the Severn River. The Greenies have been impressive thus far, sitting at 5-2. With TU's football revival and that purple and gold team up in Baton Rouge doing pretty good too, times are good down on the bayou. But you can't overlook a Naval Academy armada that's marching to bowl eligibility and a possible return to the Americans' title contention. The mids in their dress whites are sitting pretty at 5-1, and that includes a throttling of Air Force. Damn the torpedoes in this one. Navy Marine Corps Stadium will be a-rockin'. The Generals victor, Navy. Penn State at Michigan State. The General's pretty sure all y'all got November 23rd circled on your iPhone. That's the date James Franklin and company pack up their belongings and visit Columbus of the Ohio for a possible rendezvous of Big Ten East unbeatens. True, but that's almost a month away. Plenty of action going on before then. And if you know anything about Sparty, he ain't about to just crown another rival champ before we even get to Halloween. Zeke, the Wonder Dog, and MSU will come out strong, but the fellows in white will prove they belong. The Generals victor, Penn State. Oklahoma at Kansas State. A week away from Norman is just what the doctor ordered. Did you see the Sooner Schooner take a spill last week? Luckily, it appears the riders are okay. Okay and okay. No, that's funny. While the wagon's up on the rack getting repaired, Jalen Hurts and the OU football team, well, they look like they've just come off the assembly line. This finely tuned engine is firing on all cylinders. K-State will not be the easiest of traps awaiting the frontiersmen, but this will mark the first of 2 trips QB1 will make to a spot called Manhattan over the next 2 months. The Generals victor, Oklahoma. Ahead on General Gridiron, when Duke and North Carolina play, a Victory Bell trophy's up for grabs. And no hardware's on the line at Tiger Stadium, but top 10's Auburn and LSU have one monster of a contest with SEC implications. We'll tell you who wins, so keep it locked here on General Gridiron.
Hey, Dad. Hey, Dad. Do we have a gun?
Why do you ask that, kiddo?
Hello, hello, soldiers. This is General Gridiron back with you. Each week, this fabulous football forecast is heard on some of the best radio stations the FCC has licensed, including WJGA FM 92.1. We play whatever we like in Jackson, Georgia. And in Macomb, Mississippi, WAKH FM 105.7, K106, Southwest Mississippi's Big Country. We appreciate all of our radio affiliates. Now, let's get back into the football fight. Notre Dame at Michigan. Some college football knowledge for you. Michigan ranks number 1 in all-time win percentage and all-time wins. The Golden Domers are at 4 in all-time win percentage and 6 in all-time wins. So you're telling me these are superior programs? Not so fast. For two college football Goliaths nestled only 179 miles apart, they really haven't got together that often. This is their 44th clash in 150 years of college football. They only played twice between 1909 and 1978. Would love to see these Yankee boys duel every year, and maybe the one that takes the L will go back to irrelevancy the rest of the season, like ND will this year. The Generals victor in an upset, Michigan. Duke at North Carolina. The Victory Bell Trophy's on the line when these two neighbors have their annual ACC Coastal Feud at Kenan Stadium. These familiar foes have a lot in common this year, a similar record, a battle-scarred coach leading them, and both walk into this one with bad losses in the Commonwealth of Virginia last Saturday. Mac Brown's triumphant reunion on Franklin Street might be tapering off a bit. What looked like a Cinderella season with Frosh QB Sam Howell could end up being another bowl-less year in Orange County. But to the east in Durham County, bowl talk and even a coastal title berth will have ears a-ringing, along with that victory bell. The Generals victor, Duke. UCF at Temple. It seems the AAC East runs right through Cincinnati, but the two schools nipping on the Bearcats' claw get together in Philly this Saturday. The Owls and Knights have identical 5-2 overall records and 2-1 AAC marks. So something's got to give along the banks of the Delaware River. The Knights have simply not had the kind of red zone defensive joust. Opponents have scored 75% of the time they've reached the UCF 20. TU will keep that kind of offensive prowess going during this one, and it'll be a hoot for the home team Hooters. The Generals victor, Temple. Washington State at Oregon. At 11 in all the land, the Ducks are the darling of the Pac-12. But that almost top 10 accolade ain't scaring the beast from the Palouse. Believe it or not, Wazoo has actually won every game in this divisional battle since 2015. And why not believe a fifth straight win is possible? The Quackers waddle into this one in Alton Stadium with mojo on their side. Cyrus Licchio will be running hot in the Ducks' backfield, and his defense is ready to stomp out any adjustments made during the lead-up by the Pirate of Pullman. The Birds continue to rebound from that Auburn setback. The Generals victor, Oregon. And speaking of the loveliest village on the plains, Auburn at LSU. The SEC West Tiger Throwdown. The number 9 Jungle Cats out of East Alabama waltz into Death Valley for a CBS mid-afternoon matinee versus Ed Orgeron's number 2 Bayou Bengals, or Tigers. What a game we have going on this football Saturday. The Gus Bus seems to have repaired its malfunctioning offense and trots freshman signal caller Bo Nix out for an opportunity to shock the world. Them Tigers of LSU know this particular Heart of Dixie Conference opponent will pack a punch. But Grant Delpit will be lurking in the secondary shadows and have that one shining moment when the purple and gold throng need it most. The Generals victor, LSU in a close one. We've already looked at the weekend's biggest battles across the nation, but hang on to your helmet, there's more around the corner. We'll be back in a moment to wrap up this week's General Gridiron with our rapid-fire picks.
I was living in a shelter juggling 3 jobs. I had to be resilient. That's something that you can't teach.
This is General Gridiron back with you. We've already maneuvered through this weekend's frontline college football showdowns. Now it's time to fix bayonets and storm the field with our rapid-fire football forecast. Missouri inches past Kentucky. Appalachian State annihilates South Alabama. Pittsburgh pelts Miami. Air Force flies past Utah State. Nebraska neutralizes Indiana. Texas A&M outmaroons Mississippi State. Western Kentucky tops Marshall. TCU stings Texas. Princeton outsmarts Harvard. South Carolina puts Tennessee back in its place. Minnesota remains perfect against Maryland. Georgia State spanks Troy. Iowa State gets the W against Oklahoma State. Utah dominates California. Florida State gets a rare win against Syracuse. Alabama embarrasses Arkansas. Virginia vexes Louisville. Alcorn State outswacks the Southern Jaguars. Arizona beats Stanford. And the Mad Hatter's Kansas Jayhawks don't fall at the end this Saturday, knocking off Texas Tech. Well, troops, you can now put your swords back in their scabbards. We're all out of picks on this 9th week of college football edition of General Gridiron. We'll be back again next week, same General Gridiron time, same General Gridiron station. So don't forget to tune us in on the radio, Facebook, YouTube TV, or download the Y'all Show free on iTunes Podcast. And don't forget to tell your friends all about the show. Simply search for General Gridiron. This is John Rawl, the General of Gridiron Glory, thanking you for letting me be a part of your weekend celebration. General Gridiron is a production of Y'all. For more, log on to y'all.com, the ultimate guide to the South.